I am a witch. And as a witch, I like to use cartomancy, which is cards for divination and spell work and all sorts of other stuff. Now, I have selected feels like the wrong word. I have 5 oracle decks that I feel as a witch are amazing to have in my collection for a variety of reasons. And I want to share them with you today. So, are you ready? You ready to see what they are? The very first one is the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle specifically. Now, granted, I don't have the full set yet. I literally just received the Ostara one, so I mean this could change. This is right here, right now in 2024. Late 2024 is when I'm filming this, in end of October. So Seasons of the Witch Mabon. Now, out of all of the ones that I have Imbolc, Lammas. What do I have? Imbolc, Lammas, Mabon, Letha, and now Ostara. So I think I have 5 of them. The Mabon one is it feels the witchiest. I don't know what it is. It feels the witchiest. It feels the most relevant for me and what I do in my practice. I don't know. It's just wonderful. So if you haven't seen these, there is a lovely unboxing that you can catch here. But, I mean, she's got little spells and stuff in here as well. I'm just going to give you a little look. Right? Tobacco. Tobacco is something that I find ancestors really like, spirits really like as offerings. I mean, there is magical herbs in here. There is different themes that just feel really relevant to me and what I do as a witch. So I find if you have a season, if you have a Sabbath that works really well for you, that is a really good oracle deck to have on hand as a witch and in your witchcraft. I mean, to use as a daily draw for daily guidance, or to figure out what you need in your spiritual practice right now, or what area is lacking. I find that really, really helpful. The next one, I'm sure you can see, is the Oracle of the Witch. And the Oracle of the Witch it's a very specific style of oracle deck. It is not an oracle deck I would use for things like, what do I need to know right now? Or what's coming up for me? It's not, I wouldn't use it that way. I would probably use this one more so to be like, which area of my craft is feeling neglected right now? Or what can I learn and enhance in my witchy practice? Maybe it's the witch's script, right? Learning to write in code or in other forms. There is things like casting a circle, right? So, which also correlates to boundaries. It's very specific to witchcraft. So I have found this one really, really helpful in my actual craft, right? What is, you can ask things like, I have this issue. What do I need to do about this issue? I don't know, let's say there's an issue with someone gossiping about you. So you go through and you pick your card, and maybe it's scrying, divination. Like, okay, you need to do more divination because maybe you don't have all the information. Maybe it's not the person you think it is. Maybe it's something else that's going on, right? So this is really, really, really helpful in my actual witchcraft practice. The next one is the Magickal Botanical Oracle. This is really good because I am more of a garden herbal style witch. I really like using herbs in my practice. And this is very specific to plants that witches may use. So let's say I'm doing a spell and I want some guidance around, is there a specific herb or plant spirit that I should utilize in this form of magic or working? And maybe I get yarrow, right? And then you can read the guidebook on a little bit more about yarrow. If I have that on hand, I might use that. But it also has like astrological glyphs and the elements associated with the plant as well. So it's good for learning your plants. It is good for tuning into the plant spirit also, getting that sort of a vibe from it. You can work with the cards like working with a plant spirit. So maybe you don't have that plant that you want on hand, but you have a card for it. Put it underneath your candle or put it in the area where you're charging up, whatever you're doing, right? So this can be really, really helpful as like an ally, right? This is really good as an actual almost ingredient in your magic. Highly recommend. All right, deck number 4 is probably not one you would expect. This is the Saints and Mystics reading cards. I adore this deck. I love this deck. I won this deck in an Instagram competition like 8 years ago. Something ridiculous like that. And it's not a deck I would have ever purchased for myself just based on the imagery, right? It's really religious. But I love this deck. I absolutely adore it. Now, it has... The illustrations, I think, are hilarious. I will show you why, because, I mean, some of these babes are, like, super hot. Look at this guy. Saint Joseph. I mean, dude, yes. But we've got people like Helena Blavatsky. We've got saints and mystics. There's Marie Laveau, right? You've got all sorts of people in here. I really want to show you one of the really super sexy cards, because I just think they're so funny. St. Christopher, yeah, he can get it. I love it. But when you go through them, so firstly, it's the energy of a person, right? It's an archetype. It becomes an archetype, what that person was known for, whether they're a saint, which is these ones, or a mystic. And in the guidebook as well, it's even for the saints. I'll show you a saints one. Saint Expedite, I think. Saint Expedite, I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm not Catholic. But patron saint of emergencies and fast luck, right? Gives you their feast day, tells you a little bit about them, and then it has an oracle meaning of emotionally, spiritually, or consciously, and an invocation for that energy. Like, so super helpful. I find this really great for me if I'm similar to like some folk witches, right, who use saints in their practice. I will do that with saints and mystics that are in these cards, and I will place them on my altar. I will work with them, either choosing at random who I should be using, or specifically picking one out for something that I need to get done. So it's really, really helpful to tune into the energy of that archetype. It's really archetypal. And the 5th and final deck, oracle deck, these are just oracle, not tarot, oracle deck that I recommend for witches is the Winterseer Animal Oracle by Cielo Thompson. Again, this is really helpful for that animal energy spirit aspect. It is another one that is quite archetypal because of that reason. So it can be really helpful. I find this is really helpful if you're like, hey, I am seeing, maybe you are seeing eels everywhere and eels keep popping up on your social media feed. People keep talking about eels. You keep seeing, eels, whatever. You can use this as a way to like read the guidebook and figure out what that might mean for you, what that animal is representing for you. There are other ones, like cow, etc. It's just a really handy oracle, I find, even in divination. Like let's just say you are scrying and you're doing a tea leaf reading and you see a cow and you're like, I'm just drawing a blank for cow, like dairy, drink more dairy. Like, no, that's not what it's going to mean. The animal itself will have more meaning to it than that, and you can find that by using an oracle deck like this. So it can be really useful for leaning into animal symbolism, and it can be really useful as well. Let's say you're wanting to work on boosting your knowledge around something. Well, you pull out the owl and maybe you sleep with that under your pillow, or you use that as your bookmark in the book that you're reading from, right? So Really, really useful. All 5 of these decks I've found incredibly useful in my actual witchcraft practice. So I hope by sharing these with you that it gives you some ideas on oracle decks and ways you can use them and the different types. Like, these are all so different. They're all so different. The Seasons of the Witch, the Oracle of the Witch are probably the most similar, but they're still so different. Like, the whole vibe, energy of all of them are its own thing. These are my most used. I get sent a lot of oracle decks, buy a lot of oracle decks, I use a lot of oracle decks. These are in my most used pile. There is many that I give away. These are my most used. For good reason. What do you think? Have you used these decks? Will you use these decks? I'll pop my Amazon affiliate links in the description box, so if you want to purchase any of them, you can, and I do get a small kickback, but I mean, it's like not even $1 sometimes. So definitely check them out. If you want to do that, you can. Or share with me one that you love using for your witchy practice. I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I love having you guys here on my channel. Feel free to interact. It gives me so much joy. Leave me a comment. And I catch you next time.